Classification of triangles. Classification just simply means naming your triangles. And there are two ways to name your triangle. You can name them by the sides and you can name them by the angles. So we're going to start with naming our triangles by the sides. So there are three ways of naming a triangle based off of the sides that they have. So in this first triangle, notice how this side is a length of 8, this one has a length of 4, and this one has a length of 10. Notice how no sides in this triangle are congruent. So when we have a triangle with no sides congruent, that is called a scalene triangle. Okay, in the next picture, notice how we've got this triangle here. We've got a length of 8 and a length of 8 and then a length of 4. So in this picture, these two sides are congruent. So when we have at least two sides congruent, then that is known as an isosceles triangle. And then in the last picture, notice how all three of these sides have a length of 8. So all sides are congruent. So when that happens, we have what is called a equilateral triangle. So, equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, and scalene triangle. So now we want to name our triangle based off of their angle measures. So back up to the top here. So in this first picture, notice how we have acute angles. Acute means angles that are less than 90 degrees. So in this picture, now I'm just making up angle measures here. Let's say that this angle measure is 40 degrees. And then this angle measure is maybe 60 degrees. Then we're going to have an acute triangle because all of the angles in this picture are less than 90 degrees. So we have an acute triangle. Okay, in our next picture, notice how we've got one right angle. Anytime we got a triangle with one right angle, which by the way, triangles, if they're going to have a right angle, will only have one, then this is known as a right triangle. Because we have the one right angle. And in the next one, notice how we have an angle that is larger than 90 degrees. So let's say that this angle is 120 degrees. This is known as an obtuse angle. So obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees. And so because this triangle has an obtuse angle, then this is an obtuse triangle. And then in the last picture, all of these angles are congruent. So all angles are congruent. So this is known as an equal angular triangle. And so notice how you've got this line that connects these two at the bottom. Well, if I'm equal angular, if I have all my angles are congruent, then that also means I'm going to be equilateral. They go hand in hand together, and you're going to learn about that in the next videos.